Hi there, I am Stacy Phillips, and I am so excited to kick off season 1 of my podcast, Stacy Phillips and Friends, or as we like to say, keeping it real with non-housewives. No slight to real housewives. We really love you. Everybody needs a housewife in their life. Each week, we will step into my wardrobe, literally one of my closets, where one of my nearest and dearest friends and confidants will fill this chair next to me as my co-host to chat a little bit about life and a lot about women empowering women. Together, we will have a gap session with just us gal pals, a deep dive for the dish, a convo among co-eds, and then our big feature presentation, the special guest interview, or what I call the SGI. But first, move over, Andy Cohen, with your mazel of the day, because at Stacy Phillips and Friends, we will bump it up a notch or 3 as we Kibbitz, Kvetch, and Kvell, the best 5 minutes of commenting, complaining, and crowing. And because I am a divorce attorney, my producer, George, will drop in to spend a few minutes of each show talking about a high-profile relationship in the news. So welcome to Stacy Phillips and Friends. Let's keep it real. Hi there, I'm Stacy Phillips, and I'm so excited to have you on my new show, Stacy Phillips and Friends, or as we like to say, keeping it real with non-housewives. No slight to housewives. So here's about 5 minutes of commenting, complaining, and crowing. But I don't know if I want to be complaining today. I think I'm in a very positive mood.
I agree.
Let's talk about something positive. What do you want to talk about that's positive? What's great in your life? Oh, you're going to Paris tonight.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a big positive. Haven't been traveling a lot during COVID, so it's nice to kind of take some time and go away. And I think more people are kind of doing that now. We're kind of getting back to our normal life, and we're traveling like we used to. So very much looking forward to that.
I think I'm the only one who still wears a mask on airplanes in an airport, and I have gotten sick.
I respect you for that.
And I've gotten sick every time. I got COVID a few months ago after wearing a mask. The only one in the airport in the flight. So be careful.
Yeah,
I just suggest you be careful.
Double mask.
That's probably a good idea. So we're in my closet, and we can look around and look at some of my favorite designers. Christian Dior, Acris, thrown in with Frank and Eileen.
I see a lot of Manolos.
Manolos and some Jimmy Choos, but my favorite shoes are Jennifer Shimandi and Taryn Rose. And it happens to be helpful that I'm friends with both of them. I love their shoes. So,
Agreed.
we Kvelled. I don't want to kvetch today.
No kvetching. No.
And we're Kibbitzing. So, hey. And by the way, for those of you who don't know what those words mean, Kibbitz means to talk, to chatter, to gossip. Don't want to gossip. Kvetch means to complain. Kvetch, kvetch, kvetch. And Kvell means, as my dad would say, bust your buttons. Oh my God, do I hear the sound of crying, or is it laughing? Better turn the sound up, because it's the sound and it's the time for our relationship roundup. Okay, my dear, who are we talking about today?
The Golden Bachelor.
Well, I have my theories on that, so I may as well share my theories. I thought that Golden Bachelor was the best of all the Bachelor, Bachelorette shows in my small little time watching
experience.
I started watching because my daughter was here during COVID, and she really liked it, so it was something I could do with her.
Yeah.
But I really liked the Golden Bachelor because the women were friends. There was only one pot stirrer, and I think it proves that you can have a show that doesn't have negative drama.
Yeah.
That's my pitch. But the problem with the show that I would change is the relationships don't last, I believe, in large part because people are from different countries or states. And especially for a Golden Bachelor, they want to be near their families. So I would suggest that they do a Seattle Golden Bachelor or a Chicago Bachelor or a New York. And New York's a big state. So
I want to see the Las Vegas Golden Bachelor. That's the one I want to see.
Yeah, that's good.
And that would,
from Vegas.
That would
Are
be
you from
cool.
Vegas?
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love Vegas.
Yeah.
So if you have people who are from the same area, it's more likely that their relationship will be sustained.
Is that why you think that it didn't last? Was it? What was it?
Yes.
Gary? Is it? I can remember. I'm just like.
It pronounced Gary, spelled Jerry.
It's confusing for me. And what was?
Well, obviously she was confused too because they didn't make it.
Is that what you think? What eventually led to?
Yes.
And they said when they announced their breakup that they wanted to be with their families.
So,
You could
At
see
that
that
point.
on
Yeah.
the show.
they're both dedicated family people.
Yes.
Do you find him handsome?
It's nice looking.
Yeah. Monet, what about you?
He's nice looking.
He's no Kevin Costner.
He is
There's no Kevin Costner.
Wait, but okay, Kevin Costner and Gary, whatever aside, who's your number one man like in Hollywood? Who you think is so hot?
Swoon George Clooney.
Okay, George
Sorry,
Clooney. Come
just
on.
I know it's like an obvious choice, but swoon.
Like in any age, like now, back then,
Yeah,
any George Clooney.
yeah. I'll take him when his first
He
was
was
it
my
Ocean's
client.
11. I'll take him through all the Oceans sequels.
Oh, she loves Clooney. Wait, he was
Yeah.
your client?
He was my client.
Iconic.
He is. He's a really nice person.
I've heard that. He's gorgeous.
And I've heard
Yeah.
that as well. So
Gorgeous
yeah,
inside and out.
we can't forget Brad Pitt though. If we're talking about George Clooney,
Really?
we can't forget Brad
Speaking of
Pitt.
messy divorces, maybe that's
Oh, God.
Yeah.
up.
Too much drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
for
of drama
sure.
there. Well, we wish Gary and
Teresa.
Teresa the best of luck as they go their separate ways. But I'm excited to see the next season of Golden Bachelorette.
She might be the
Yes.
Golden Bachelorette.
Now they
or
picked somebody.
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot her name, which is
Joan?
I think it might be. Yeah,
She's from the cast.
Yeah, she was
Yeah,
blonde.
blonde, pretty.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to get her as a guest on the show.
Ooh, you go, Georgie.
Yeah.
Right after you get George Clooney.
Yeah.
Don't forget him.
Yeah, we'll get Clooney next.
No, we only allow women.
No, I want to talk to you about that next season. I think we should extend it.
I mean, listen, if you can
Okay.
get
He's
George
allowed
Clooney,
to.
Okay, there's
I say
exceptions.
that there's an exception.
Or Mal.
Yeah, I'll take him all. Yeah,
I'll take
that would be an amazing
You know.
interview.
Another
sure.
woman who fashion is
Fabulous.
important to her and she takes care of the world. Okay, that's the sound, and it's time for a special guest interview. This week, we are very excited to spend some time with Mandy Ingber. Mandy is a celebrity fitness and wellness expert. 20 years of teaching experience have attracted such clients as Jennifer Aniston, Kate Beckinsale, Helen Hunt, Ricky Lake, Jennifer Lawrence, Jennifer Meyer, and Brooke Shields. Oh my God. Wow. And I assume they're not just your clients, that you have a relationship with them. You have a friendship with them. I know you do with some of them. So how do you do that? Hanging out with people that are just in newspapers for many of us.
So I started off as an actress when I was younger. My first job was in the original company of a Broadway show called Brighton Beach Memoirs. So the celebrity aspect of it has always, I kind of grew up watching people become famous. And so I think that it's kind of a part of my, I guess my fate. So I think that's not a difficult part for me, or that's just something that's like organic for me. Some people like Jennifer Aniston was my friend prior to, working with her as a teacher. So, that evolved, into a working relationship from a friendship.
So I'm a divorce lawyer and I represent a lot of celebrities, and I look at it, they put their pants on the same way. You are also a New York Times bestselling author of Yoga Philosophy. Am I saying that right? 28 Days to the Ultimate Mind-Body Makeover, and creator of the Yoga Hybrid DVD Yogalosophy. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
And I know you were an actress. Yes, I'm from New York, Brighton Beach Memoirs, Cheers, and starred in the film Teen Witch. Wow. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You are literally in my closet. I don't know if you can see some of my clothes. And with me is one of my besties, Monet Berger, who is a real estate broker here in Beverly Hills. Again, often to celebrities, because that's sort of our world here. So,
Hi, Monet.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
So-
Big yoga fan, by the way. Big yoga fan. So
Yay, yoga.
kudos to you.
tell us about your pivot from acting to health and well-being, because it seems like an oxymoron.
Huh. Well, it all started in the same place in my home when I was a child. I was raised with yoga, and funnily enough, it's like I love that you asked me to be here because divorce was a huge part of my childhood, and my father was the one that actually brought yoga into my life, and he left my mother for his yoga buddy. So I feel like in a way it's all been part of like a healing process, like me becoming a yoga teacher. That was not something that was the plan. But it just ended up being this healing process for me. In terms of my relationship with my father and understanding him better and carrying out his legacy on some level. So the pivot was just, it's all been very organic, that was a very organic thing for me to do. And it was just part of a healing process, just the same way that my acting was, that was a place for me to go. My childhood was watching a relationship deteriorate, and so that acting was like my safe place. It was a place I could go to express my emotions, that was safe, being in front of people. It just felt safer than what was going on at home. And then the teaching the yoga just really, it started off as spinning. Actually, I started teaching spinning first, and all of the lessons that I learned along the way, like between my parents and how to take care of myself, I just started to share that with others. And I became the character of like my best self, essentially.
That's
so that's
fabulous.
It's not that far away, weirdly. If you think about it, when you go to a yoga class, it's a performance. I mean, I'm sure being a lawyer is a performance too, right? So it was just like a different part of myself that I was performing.
So tell us about yogalosophy. I still feel like I'm mispronouncing it.
No, sometimes I'll say it's like a workout for the tongue. I created a yoga hybrid that paired yoga with toning exercises, and the actual, like, the philosophy that I really was trying to bring was the love your body into shape concept. That really what we do is we start by loving ourselves exactly as we are, and as a result, we start making like the right choices. So the book, which was a New York Times bestseller, the 28-day mind body makeover that you mentioned, I actually tried to give people like bite-sized goals, like each day, and to make it kind of fun, almost like the artist's way. So it was a creativity book meets a yoga book and a health and wellness book. And I just find that giving people a lot of choices, healthy choices of how to channel their energy is, people want to do the right things, but they don't always know how to do it. So I would give them like a meditation of the day, a breath exercise of the day, a yoga pose of the day, a playlist of the day, and just have it be like a daily reader in a way.
Does it incorporate any diet tips or healthy eating as well?
Yes.
Okay, so also
there
part
are
of the program.
Yes, there are three optional diet programs in the book.
Wow. Are you working on another book?
I did. I wrote a second book as well. That was called Yogalosophy for Inner Strength. And that was that's a 12-week program. And basically that was about moving out of grief and into joy, through transitional times. Because I was going through a breakup at the time that I wrote it. And I was like, it was all I could think about. And so it was a way for me to sort of work through my own process of a breakup.
Good for you. And we understand that you're interested in astrology. I'm really interested in astrology. So tell us
astrology
about it.
Okay. So astrology is actually another incarnation of mine, and that's actually what I'm doing currently. All of my teaching actually was based in astrology, but I didn't share that at the time. It seemed kind of radical to share that. So basically, the reason it's a 28-day program, the original program, is because it's a lunar cycle. So each day is actually it's representative of a different astrological sign. So it really goes through a whole lunar cycle. So astrology is one of the, I think that I always have been trying to understand people better, like why some people are the way they are. Like, for instance, my father, why is my father this way and my mom's this way? And so astrology was a way that I started to understand that people are coming at things from different angles. And it just, we all have everything in us. So it's just this idea of integrating all facets of ourselves, and that's, again, it's all related with each other. For me, it's all about self-love. So when I start to integrate all the aspects of myself and I accept myself more, and then I learn to accept others more and understand that there are cycles and rhythms to everything.
It's a very holistic
astrology
approach. That's the word I would
astrology
probably
really
use.
helps with that. Like sometimes we think that we don't understand that things have a time span. They have a purpose and a time span, and some cycles, some planetary cycles last longer than others. So a Saturn cycle, I bet a lot of people who are getting divorced are going through a Saturn cycle, and that has a very specific timeline. And it sometimes helps to know, like, what is the window of this lesson that I'm learning. So I've found that I've been able to give people a lot of relief through the astrological charts.
Good for
Love
you.
that. Yeah. Love that.
So you've explained that your parents broke up and that was a lot of your childhood. And then you went through a personal breakup. Tell us about your family now.
Well, it was so long ago. My family broke up, in 1985. So there was obviously a lot of healing that came out of that. My father is no longer with us, but he did go on. He left my mother for another woman, and then she left him for another man, and then he ended up having a third wife who he
The
had
cycle.
2 children with, and he kind of repeated. But that's how he ended up. So I ended up with 2 half siblings. And I love that I'm 24 and 26 years older than them. So I can impart, the wisdom that I gained from our father. And like, I feel like I'm an extra adult for the kids because they lost him when they were young, even though he was still married to their mom when he passed. It was kind of when they were still young, kind of like how I was young when he left our family. So it's like we all just kind of play these roles. And ultimately, it was really a good thing that my parents got divorced. My mother ended up with a much better guy for her. All of it worked out, actually. So anyway,
God
that's
bless that it all worked out, and you've learned from it, and you seem to take, as I've said before, a great holistic approach, and I admire that.
We have a little question for you. If you were not doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
Well, I keep evolving, so I just keep doing what I want to be doing. So what I'm currently doing is the astrology readings. I kind of like I was an actor, and when I wanted to be an actor, I was an actor. And then I started teaching and I wrote books, and it's like I just keep letting it evolve. And I've evolved out of really wanting to do the, sort of the physical stuff. I really enjoy helping people frame their lives in terms of lessons and integration. It doesn't have to be through physical activity. So that's how the astrology has come into play. And I also am back to auditioning. So I'm kind of going back to acting as well. And so I just like I do whatever is in front of me that I want to do. I mean, that I feel excited about doing.
And I'm guessing that's always guided by your astrology. You kind of have an inside track on that.
Well, I do have an inside track on that, but usually people are doing what their astrology says. I'm not trying to like second guess it. It's just I'm an information person. I'm a communicator. Like you guys doing a podcast. I mean, I just love trying all these new things. And that's so that I think we staying open to whatever the next thing is super important, to staying vibrant and excited.
Wow. So you now have a realtor. sitting next to me, a divorce lawyer. Are there any questions
Yes.
you might want to ask us?
Well, what I actually, I looked online, Stacy, at your book, and I thought it was so interesting. It's because it talked about basically it's about control, right? And gaining
Correct.
control. And I think that's great. And I think that that's part of the framing things, right? Like when we choose to have like with the astrology, I try to frame it with something positive, right? Like you can use this to the positive. And I think looking at yourself as the person in power is one of the most important things that one can do. So I actually was wondering, is there any place where it's good to let go of control? Like, or how do you let go of control? Like if you get in control, because I find that for myself, I'm super controlling. So when is it good to let go of that control, and how do you do it once you are in the power position?
Okay, so when I was looking to meet a man, I was looking for somebody who was not a control freak, but knew how to take charge. So think about relinquishing control so that you don't always have to have that pressure on you, but do it in a time and a way where you feel safe. If you don't feel safe, then it's probably not healthy for you. But you've done things very organically, and I would hope with that spiritual way of looking at things that you know how to let go and let somebody else run with something and feel safe doing that. Because being in control all the time, and sure, I'm a control freak, it's exhausting. I come home,
Yeah.
I don't want to make every single decision. I do that at work all day long. So that's my suggestion. Do you have a suggestion?
I mean, I love to control everything, so it's probably tough. I'm a tough person, but it is such a joy when you have a partnership with someone, whether it's business or a friendship, any type of relationship, and you trust that person enough, and it's kind of about trust to give that control to them when you feel safe and you trust them, and it's a great place to be.
No, that's great. I appreciate it.
The bells goes off, and it's our time's up for today. So thank you, our special guest, Mandy Ingber, and my wonderful co-host with the most, Monet Berger. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mandy.
Thank you both.
And
Thank
a
you.
very special thank you to all of you for spending some of your precious time with us at Stacy Phillips and Friends. You can watch us on my YouTube channel at Stacy Phillips, or download the show wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Stacy D. Phillips Ask, which means Esquire, which means lawyer, or connect on LinkedIn. So see you again soon, and remember, love will always be in fashion.